Good morning. This is Kavi Priya, Assistant Professor, EC Department. I'm going to discuss about the topic sensor. Under sensor, I'm going to explain about what is sensor, what is transducer, what is the basic difference between sensor and transducer, characteristics of sensor, and finally about the different types of sensor. What is a sensor? Sensor is a device that detects or senses the physical inputs that is available in the environment. It can be a heat or it can be a temperature, motion, etc. So after sensing the input, it will be converting it to an electrical signal. So after converting, it can be read by a processor. The real world example is first one is thermometer. In thermometer, we have a sensor called thermistor, which senses the body temperature and it converts it into an electrical signals. And second one is a accelerometer. Accelerometer is meant for detecting the motions. And for detecting the light signals, we have a photodiodes as a sensors. And next, what is this transducer? Transducer is a one which converts a one form of energy into another form of energy. For a conversion, it takes a input as a quantity from one form and it will be converting it to another form. So all sensors are transducers, but all transducers are not sensors. The basic difference is that sensor is one which senses the input signal and converting it to a signal that is equally proportional to an input signal, whereas transducer is one which converts one form of energy into another form without any sensing. So best example for sensor is a microphone. So microphone converts the sound energy into an electrical energy, whereas speaker is one which converts electrical energy back into an sound energy. Speaker is a transducer, whereas microphone is a sensor. The sensing part is missing in the transducers. Next is what is the process that is involved in the sensor? Initially, it will be sensing the physical quantities that is available in the environment like temperature, light, heat, etc. And next is that it has to be converted into an electrical signal, right? For this, it requires a transduction element. So transduction element is one which converts the physical input into an electrical signals. And later, these electrical signals is given as an input to the processing unit. So in between it has A to D converters, it has an amplifier, it has a signal conditioning units, filters, etc. So the whatever the output of the transducer, which will be a transduction element, which will be given as an input to the processing unit. And next is what are the common type of sensors available and what are all its application. Under temperature, we have this thermistor RTD, resistance temperature detector and thermocouple. And the main important thing is that it is used in the precision climate control and it is used in industrial process monitoring. And under pressure, we have the strain gauge and piezoelectric sensors, which converts the pressure into an electrical signals. And next is a proximity. Proximity sensors is meant for object detection and it is mainly used in automated assembly lines. And for detecting the motion signals, we have this accelerometer and gyroscope. It is being used in smartphones and navigation systems in mobile phones. And we have this to convert the light signal into an electrical signal. Photodiodes and photoresistors are used for this purpose. And next is what are the key characteristics of sensors and transducer. First one is accuracy. How far the measured value is close to the true value. It is given by accuracy. The range is nothing but what is the maximum and minimum value that sensor can measure. Sensitivity is nothing but ratio of change in the output to the change in the input. Resolution is what is the smallest changes in the input which can be exactly captured by the sensor and the sensor delivers the output. Then we can call it as a high resolution. Response time is nothing but what is the time that is required for the sensor to produce the output whenever there is a change in the input. Linearity is that there is a relationship between an input and output. Our input and output should be linear enough each other. Next is an activity based on the sensor. The puzzle is given based on the characteristics of sensors has been given. From that we have to identify what is the exact sensor. And next is what is the classification of sensor based on the physical quantity it senses. It is classified into 6 types: mechanical, thermal, electrical, optical, chemical and magnetic. Mechanical is meant for sensing the physical quantities like pressure, force, displacement and acceleration. Thermal is used for measuring the temperature flow and heat flow. Electrical is to produce based on if input signal is current or voltage, then it comes under the electrical. And optical is a light intensity and proximity. Chemical is for pH, gas concentration and humidity. For measuring these three quantities, chemical sensors can be used. And to measure the magnetic field strength, magnetic sensors is used. Based on the output signal, it is classified into 6 types. First one is resistive. So whenever there is a change in the input, there will be a change in the resistance. Resistance varies with the input. Example, thermistor. Capacitive will changes with input. Example is a proximity sensor. And inductance varies with the input signal. Example is linear variable differential transformer. And next is a voltage generating, which will be directly producing the voltage signal. Example, thermocouple. Current generating will be producing the current output. Example, photodiodes. Based on the light intensity, current is being produced. And final one is a digital frequency output. The output here is a code or frequency. Example, encoders. And next is an assessment question. The change in output of a sensor with change in input, we call it as a sensitivity. So whenever there is a change in the input, there should be a changes in the input. Next is the smallest change which a sensor can detect, we call it as a resolution. Even if a sensor is capable of detecting the smallest change that is available in the input, then the sensor has the highest resolution. Thermocouple generates output voltage according to the temperature. So it will be sensing the temperature and it will be generating the electrical signal. The electrical signal here is a voltage. So the voltage level is based on the input temperature. That's all about the basics of sensors. I have covered what is a sensor and what is a transducer, and about the characteristics of sensors, transducers, and finally about the different types of sensors based on the input and based on the output. Thank you.